So Mohamed Hassan Irro, welcome to SomaliDispatch.com as Somalia's chairman of the Indirect Election Commission, FEAT. Could you please start us off by telling us or giving us an overview of where the process of the Somalia's 2020-2021 election process is at right now?
Thank you very much, Abdul Qadir. Somali election process has started 17 September last year. Since that time, there was a problem standing the issue of the election. There was some challenges and disagreement between the FMS and federal government of Somalia. There is so many issues regarding the solving how the country go an election. But luckily, we are now on the good stage, hoping tomorrow will be the first day of the election. And here in Kismayo, we are expecting to get the first upper house seat in tomorrow.
That's great. And to understand further some of the challenges faced by the process, can you please explain the roles of the two different committees, electoral committees, be they the regional level and the federal level? What are the mandated duties that they have to accomplish, and how do they work together?
In 17 September agreement, which based on the election process, has established three different commissions: Federal Implementation Election Team, which is called FEAT. They are responsible the mechanism and the procedure of the election. They are responsible driving, and they are the engine which is driving the election process. So there is also commissions of state level. They are the tools who are implementing the election, like holding, registering, counting vote, hosting the delegates, and traditional elders. Also, there is another commission which is called Dispute Resolution Commissions. And they are working like the high court. As you know, the country has no high court system. So any dispute occurred in the election process, they are going to solve it. So that's three different commissions, and all of them, there is some ways they are working together closely.
Right. Thank you for that. And to further, explore and explain some of the challenges the process and yourselves have faced, and when we can commend you as the Somali public for addressing and taking them hard on. One of the main ones that is repeatedly mentioned is the holding of elections on one or more or two regional cities. Is that still the process? Are you proceeding to hold the elections in, for example, Kismayo and Garbahari?
Definitely, the agreement, 17 September agreement, is based on some principle agreements. And this indirect election, it is so close and same process of the 2016 election process. Only it's different. Only the difference is so little issues. Like the 2016 delegates who are voting for MPs were 51 people. This year, the voters delegate are 101 delegate. Also, the 2016 election places were won, each regional capitals. Right now, each state has 2 locations which the election is taking place. So there is a challenges. As you know, the country is anarchy so long time. There is Al-Shabaab, and there is also there is a clan conflict. There's so many issues. All of those issues is a challenges when the issue become an election. So sometimes the infrastructure is so slow, and the economy and the budget of the election also is another critical issue. So all those issues is a problematic, is a problem. But I hope we are going to have an election. As I mentioned it, tomorrow is the only hope. We are expecting that we are going to close the door of the 10th parliament, and we want to open 11th parliament session. So that's issues we are working on it right now.
Excellent. The other somewhat outstanding issue is the dispute or the unresolved issues surrounding the northern delegates. Delegates. Was that resolved? Is that concluded? I know that election is going to happen in Mogadishu. It's not going to happen in a regional state. So that should actually be easier to hold. Where are we at with the northern delegates issues?
That call it the Somaliland Implementation Team Commission.
Right.
The seat of Somaliland, yeah. That commission, there is some dispute between the politicians. I mean, the Somaliland politicians have a dispute. So, and they are the one who nominated these commissioners. So their differences already have seen in the commission. And commission are 11 member. So 11 member is divided 7 in one side and 4 in another side. So there is some mechanism that the Prime Minister is working on it. He's trying to solve it. And I hope he will bring together differences and it will be solved in these coming days.
Sounds good. As you know, there are in Somali politics these days a buzzword is stakeholders and people who are interested in elections, be they candidates themselves or be they other critics or analysts. One of them is the Union of Presidential Candidates, who recently expressed some concerns about some of the issues that I asked you. What would you like to tell them to ease some of their concerns, be they holding the election on time, be they, you guys being independent, the commission having the ability to hold an independent election? What would you say to them to ease their concerns?
Really, I will say this is a Somali process. And this election is the only hope that the Somali people have. And is the only hope that Somali governance system can maintain to be continued. So any stakeholder who has some concern, he may see the challenges, because there is a challenges, as we know, and the challenges of the election is so many. There is some other challenges beyond the election issue. So but the only hope we have is to have an election. There is no any other way. They were fearing maybe the election has not taken place the exact timeline that the commission has released recently. But we know their concern. But in reality, we hope the election could take place in time, maybe there is some technical delays, but that delay is not cannot be a long time. Maybe it can be 1 day, 2 days, or 3 days. As you can see, we're supposed to start the registration of the upper house on 25th, and we start yesterday, 27th. So almost the 2 days were some technical issues, and it has been solved. And all this process come negotiation, solving anything news on arising to have an election process, and we maintain that dialogue with the FMS leader. I mean the federal member state leader and also the prime minister. So,
right. What would you say if you had more of would make your work easier? What sort of things would you have liked to see more of and less of others? For example, the criticism or more support or involvement. Do you have a wish of having something that would have made your job easier?
yeah, definitely. The criticism can come anytime because we are working election.
Right.
We are monitoring and we are working as a justice team. As you know, when you are working the election issue, and as you know, there is thousands or hundreds combatants are involved in this election. So anyone who miss his seat will complain. That's a normal of humankind. But we are expecting all stakeholders to work together with us, and also the leaders also we are expecting to work with the leaders in good manner. So all those hope is giving us some encouragement that we are going to succeed in this election period.
Right. And finally, what words of wisdom would you like to leave with our audiences in terms of the upcoming elections? What could they look forward? What would you tell them utilizing our platform here?
Yeah, my word is this is a Somali process. This election is the only hope that Somali people has. If we miss or if the election fail, we don't know what the future of this country will be. So millions of Somalis are watching this election, are expecting that their country could go further governance system. So this country is recovering from long-term anarchy and lack of governance system. So this election is a only hope that the Somali people could maintain their nation and their governance system.
I couldn't agree more, and I couldn't thank you enough for both the hard work and the task that you took on, and I wish nothing but success for you and your group, and I wish this election turns the country around, and people would pick and elect some that would actually implement some changes needed in the country. And I wish I could talk to you longer and ask you many more questions, but I understand your role is is a technical one, and maybe some of the questions that are surrounding our election does not pertain to you and your team. But I wish to further extend you in the near future to come back on and update our audiences in how the Somalia election of 2020-2021 went.
Oh, thank you very much.